Hi guys, my name is Roger, and ever since I was a teenager, I've always wanted to build my own car. I started this channel to see if an average person, like me, can design and build their own mid-engine car. If you like what you see here in my videos, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you know someone who you think might be interested in my videos, please share the videos with them. I'll be adding a new video every week, and with that out of the way, let's get started with this week's video. Just a couple quick things here to point out. First, I went and picked up this roll bar today that the race shop bent for me. and it looks nice, but they bent it to the wrong part of my template. They thought my template was a center line, and the tube should have fit on the outside of the template. So this tube's just a little bit small. I set it up on the card just to see if I could make it work anyway, and I can't, so I'm gonna have to get him to bend me another one. I left the pattern there for him. I told him I'd call him tonight or text him and let him know if I could make this one work or if he needed to make another one, but I am gonna have another one. But the work itself looks good. You can see the bends are all super nice. You can see they're marked where they marked where the bends to start, and they don't have a tube roller, so they're not able to roll a consistent arc across the top, but they bent it in 7 sections across here, and it's just slightly faceted, but looks really nice. It turned out well. I'm happy with it. I left my other templates with him, so he's going to bend the other tubes also if he can. I believe he'll be able to. And I have both doors motorized now. They're both open. Both these doors look like they're stopping at the same place. If not, they're close. And I have travel adjustment bump stops, or whatever you want to call them, at the top, so I can tweak those and get them exactly the same, but they are very close. But this is what it looks like with the doors up. And this is what the motor looks like. Kind of hard to see, but I've made a pretty sturdy weldment here to attach this to. And I'll have to come back and finish the attachment to the door. That's just temporary, but looks nice. This hangs down what looks like it might be kind of in the way of your feet, but I've got it in and out of the car. There's plenty of foot room below this and to the inside of it for the pedals, moving your feet back and forth to operate the pedals, and lots of room. I don't see any issues there. I believe I've already showed you this one over here, but here it is again. And both of these attach points and weldments are hooked to this tube that the dash and instrument panel and steering column and all mount to, and it'll be secured in here with several mounting screws and be very stable. So I believe this will work. The only thing I don't like is the doors bounce a little bit as they're going up and down, and I'm hoping I can get that out with some dampers, or maybe even when the doors are finished and weigh more, it may take some of that springiness out. But other than that, I'm very happy with them, and I'm hoping I can make that springiness less and get that a little bit smoother action. But that's one open door, and here's the other one. Well, I guess you can see we have tore the car back down to the frame again. And the reason we've done this is there are 5 or 6 things, maybe 7, that I've been letting accumulate that I need to go back and catch up and do correctly or change. I'm not happy with the way they currently are. So while we're waiting on the roll cage parts to be bent and before I can pick them up, it was a good time to take some downtime and catch up all these things that I wanted to work on. Let me show you what they all are, and then after I fix them, I will show you what I've done to solve the issues, or at least I hope solve the issues. Let's start in the front. I'm worried about these shock towers not being strong enough, and I made a piece here and welded it on. I was going to bolt through here. I'm just not sure that's quite strong enough. I'm going to take these off. I'm going to extend these on out here so I can put a bolt through this large tube here, this thick tube, and out here also on both sides of the front. And the next thing is several videos ago, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, when I built this mount for the brake booster, I had a guy that said he worked for a motorsports, a power sports company and designed frames, and he was worried about this not being strong enough. So I'm going to go back and look at this, see if there's some more areas I can beef this up just a little. And I'm also going to mount a steel angle here that comes up and sandwiches in between the brake, the master cylinder here, and the nut where this bolts together, and that'll give it some more support, pushing the pedal forward so it can't try to shift forward and break any of these seams. But that steel angle will bolt down to this tube and come up and straddle here the bolt so they can sandwich together and give that a lot more strength. And hopefully that'll take care of that area. Let's see, what else do we need to do? There are several welds that I couldn't get to weld that I need to roll the frame over and get to across here and down through here. It's just easier when everything is laying horizontal. So that will be the first thing we'll actually start doing once this video here is over, and I'll start working on those welds. I need to get in here and connect this brake line. It needs to be trimmed and flared and put together. That's something I've been waiting on. The rear shock towers, I wanted to add something for strength here, so I've bought a piece of tube I'm going to cut and mount. It'll come down and weld onto here and come up here and bolt through, and try to make that more rigid. Also, I need to make and weld in a gusset here to strengthen this joint, and it'll have to be trimmed to fit around the linear actuators here for the door. I don't think they'll be close to getting in the way, but it'll pick up and incorporate these bolts here for the door and come down and weld in, make that a nice solid joint on both sides. And I believe that's it. Oh, and a battery tray. I need to finish strengthening up this area here. I bought a battery yesterday that goes in this car, and I need to make a battery tray, weld all that in, incorporate it. And then once that's finished, I need to put the floor pan up underneath that. I was keeping that off so I could make sure I could get to all my welds and weld them here for the battery tray before I put that on, but we'll do that also. But that metal won't be here for 2 more days to do all of that. So today we're going to start rolling this frame over, looking for all the welds that weren't finished, and try to finalize all of the welding that needs to be done to catch everything up to speed. And then once all these little things are corrected, we can start putting it all back together and working on the roll cage. So let's get started on all this. While the car is up like this so I can reach it to weld, I thought it'd be a good time to show you what the underneath of the car looks like with all the aluminum skins. And we'll start here in the front. You can see the removable panels in the center to get to all the plumbing and electrical lines and stuff down in the tunnel of the car. And then this triangle shaped piece on this side is done. We'll add this one once the battery box is finished and everything is done inside there I need to reach. And this is the one over the engine. It has a gap here because I'm going to bend this down a few degrees just to catch some air and funnel it up through the engine bay. You can see it's removable to that entire panel, so you can get to the bottom of the engine for oil changes and servicing different things on the engine. That's what it looks like. Just wanted to show you this, and I'm going to get back to welding. Well, I finished welding all the places that I couldn't get to originally on the car. Some of that was here underneath and on these support pieces. So all that is welded in solid on both sides. There were some welds underneath this battery support that I couldn't get to that I finished welding. And I made this battery tray. Kind of hard to see. Here we go. You can kind of see under the tray. It's a little rectangular tray that the battery sits in. It fits pretty close tolerance. And there is a clamp sitting on top of the battery. And I've drilled and put in these two rivet nuts, one on each end. And there'll be the bolt or a threaded rod running down through here and clamps down with a nut or a bolt, whichever I go with, and holds that battery in place in that tray. And that is where the battery is going to locate. I think that gives me plenty of room to access all the wiring easy. There'll be a panel that removes here in the fender well to gain access to this battery. And all of this is right here in front of the rear tire. And I don't know if you remember or not, but the fuse boxes that are sitting near the battery will be mounted here on this bulkhead between the engine bay and the cabin area, so it's in close proximity to the battery. All that should work nicely. But that's what we've got done for today, and I guess we're at a good stopping point for this week. And we'll have the car tore down like this for probably one more week. I'm waiting on my metal to come in to finish all these things that we discussed earlier in the video, but once all of these things are finished and caught up to the point that I'm happy, then we'll start putting the car back together, and hopefully by then we'll have the roll cage pieces here and we can start assembling the roll cage. But that's it for this week. I'll see you guys again in 1 week.